Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video I will be teaching you how to build maps like a pro, and I'm gonna share with you some of the techniques and some tricks that I use to make the maps look a little bit better. And I think you know me by now, I don't really like prolonging the inevitable, so I'm gonna get to it right away. And before I do that, I know this is kind of an irony. Before I do that, don't forget to leave a like on the video, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, and join our community on Discord if you didn't know about it already. Let's stop talking and let me share with you some of the sauce. Also, this video is sponsored by GTA Hub, but more about that later. So, the first item on the list is looking for reference images, and this one is really obvious if you really think about it. If you want to do something and you don't know how it looks exactly, look it up. Or if you don't have enough reference images, look it up, you'll find some more. There is always some more stuff that you can find from which you can inspire yourself. And I guess a good example would be one of my latest projects, and this is the Fort Carson mapping. And to be honest with you, I didn't really know how to make this city, I guess, look like. So I looked it up and I found images from Red Dead Redemption that helped me a lot to design some of the things around here, like for example these balconies. In Red Dead there is a city called Saint Denis, and that city has a lot of these balconies along the streets. I took inspiration from that game, from another game. It doesn't really have to be from reality, you can use inspiration from other games. And yeah, I come up with this balcony idea, and you know, I can go on and on with examples. For example, this pots cart over here, this is also from the internet. I saw a picture online with the letters wrote on each pot, and yeah, I thought it looked really cool and I used it. And yeah, that's what you should do as well. You should look up for reference images to, you know, make your maps have more detail, I guess. The second point on our list is randomize rotations. What do I mean by that? Let's get this scene here as an example. If you were to sit at a table, would you have placed your phone on the table like perfectly 90 degrees aligned with the table? No, of course you'd not. You would probably place it something like this, I don't know, let's say like that. Would you have placed the book perfectly 90 degrees? No, of course not. You would probably place it something like this, you know. The idea is never, at least this is what I like to do. I don't really like having objects placed perfectly at 90 degrees. Not every time. Sometimes it can go, but not every time, especially not in cases like this. Also, quickly, as a side bonus, as you can see, this book over here is really bright. And to reset the light map on the object, it's really simple. You just set the color of the object to white, just like that, and now it looks kind of dark, but it still is better than being bright white like it was before. And you do that in Texture Studio by using this command. Another great example of randomized position would be when doing nature maps. I've seen a lot of maps, a lot of people doing maps with nature elements like bushes and grass and trees and stuff like that. And when we talk about nature, nature doesn't really like to grow in a certain, how should I say, nature is really random, to put this simply. And the way I go around this is when I duplicate objects. Let's say I created this bush first, the index tree, right? And then I wanted to duplicate this object and place it again in another spot. I would duplicate it and then rotate it 90 degrees and then placed it in another spot. And if you do that for all of them, let's say I rotate it like that, that object a little bit like that, and then like that, and then this object a little bit, and also the trees. And as you can see now, it looks a lot more randomized and it looks more natural. So yeah, when you do nature maps, make sure you randomize the rotation of the objects so that they don't look unnatural and look organic. The third point on my list is adding life elements. Now, what does that mean? That means making it seem like someone or something has lived over there. It doesn't really have to be humans, like in this example. It can be animals, it can even be plants. For example, if you're doing a post-apocalyptic map, you don't only want to add like destroyed cars and I don't know, fires and stuff like that, or collapsed buildings. You have to add plants as well, because once there are no humans, there would be no one to tend the plants and cut them, and the nature would obviously spread around the cities, for example. In this scenario here, I used human life as a life element. For example, some humans lived here and they made a campfire and they are cooking a marshmallow and fishes on sticks. Yeah, so yeah, you can come up with all sorts of stuff. Basically, imagination is your limit, but by doing this, you not only make your map look more realistic, but you're also making it look more pleasant to the eye and more detailed. Now tell me, are you looking for something to spice your server up? Well, you've come to the right place. On GTAHub.net you can find a wide variety of maps made by multiple creators, including myself, that will boost your server in popularity 100 times. So do not hesitate, the first 10 orders that exceed $20 will receive a guaranteed 50% discount. Plus, after your first order, you will receive a coupon code of 20% discount, which you can use later on or just share it with your friends and offer it as a gift. Okay, enough promotion, let's continue the video. The fourth point, don't use plain textures, unless you know how to. And today I'm gonna teach you how to. So I saw a lot of people use plain textures like this, and if you don't know how to do it right, it's going to look like you are having maps with walls made out of plastic or something like that. To avoid that bad look, for at least that's my opinion, I think it looks bad. I don't really like it without textures, but in spite of that, I used a plain texture over here because I know how to do it right. And to do it the way I did it, and as you can see, is I combined it with other textures, with detailed textures like this wood panel over here. And this breaks up the plain texture a little bit and makes it look more pleasant to the eye, in my opinion. You can also break up the plain textures by using objects on the walls, like I use these frames, like these paintings on over here, and yeah, stuff like that. Also adding patterns to the wall, like I did with these elements over here, these wood panels or whatever you may want to call them. Yeah, this also helped to break up that plain texture of the wall. And as you can see here in the corners, the thing I don't like about the texture is that they don't have any shadows on them. And if you look in the corner, if it wasn't for this border here, you wouldn't be able to know that there is a corner over there. I also used a plain texture on the ceiling, but as you can see, I used these beams here to kind of break it up and make it look more realistic. So yeah, that's that. Don't use plain textures. Numero 5, and this one wasn't really scripted for this video, but I remember it as I was recording the last one. And This one is always fill up the corners of a room. For example, here I'm using this plant to fill up the corner, because without it will look really empty. Also over here I'm using this wood wall to fill up the corner. I'm using this plant and these couches to fill up the corner. Same on this side. Always fill up the corners of your rooms. And this is a rule I learned when I was studying level design for games. There was a course or something like that I read a long time ago that said this, and this really stuck with me, and it helped me make better looking interior and maps overall. So yeah, fill up your corners. And point 6, and probably the most important one out of all of them, be inventive and resourceful. And what do I mean by that? Use the objects not for their intended purpose, but for what they can become. And let me give you a quick example. Here I made a Formula 1 car. And these are objects attached on top of a cart. I think you can see the wheel over here, right? And to make the what's it called? To make the cabin or the spot where the pilot sits, I use a hot tub. Let me actually show you really quick. This is a hot tub with another texture, basically. And you can do that for a lot of objects. For example, the wheels are some flower pots textured in a different way. And for the nose of the F1 car, I basically used surfboards and stacked them on top of each other. And as I said before, imagination really is your limit. You can come up with all sorts of crazy stuff, like I did with this excavator over here. And this is again attached on a vehicle, and you can basically drive it. I'm really proud of this one, as you can see. So yeah, as I said before, be inventive. Don't limit yourself to what objects are already in the game. Use the old ones, retexture them, and basically create new objects for yourself. You don't really have to limit yourself with what we already have. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful, and if you did, please make sure to do all the nice stuff, leave a like and subscribe to the video, as well as join the Discord community. So yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one, so bye bye. Damn, this thing is cool.